The grand question debated whether Hamilton's BAWN1 should be turned into a barrack or malthouse by Jonathan Swift. The preface to the English edition. The author of the following poem is said to be Dr. J. S. Roman 500 S.P. Roman, who writ it as well as several other copies of verses of the like kind, by way of amusement, in the family of an honourable gentleman in the north of Ireland, where he spent summer about 2 or 3 years ago too. A certain very great person then in that kingdom, having heard much of this poem, obtained a copy from the gentleman, or as some say the lady in whose house it was written, from whence I know not by what accident. Several other copies were transcribed full of errors. As I have a great respect for the supposed author, I have procured a true copy of the poem, the publication whereof can do him less injury than printing any of those incorrect ones, which run about manuscript and would infallibly be soon in the press, if not thus prevented some expressions being peculiar to Ireland. I have prevailed on a gentleman of that kingdom to explain them, and I have put the several explanations in their proper places. First edition. Thus spoke to my lady, the night too full of care, let me have your advice in a weighty affair. This Hamilton's BAWN, while it sticks in my hand, I lose by the house what I get by the land, but how to dispose of it to the best bidder for a barrack 6 or malt house, we now must consider. First let me suppose I make it a malt house. Here I have computed the profit will fall thus: there's £900 for labour, and grain, I increase it to 12, so 300 remain. A handsome addition for wine and good cheer, 3 dishes a day, and 3 hogsheads a year. With a dozen large vessels my vault shall be stored, no little scrub joint shall come on my board, and you and the Dean no more shall combine to stint me at night to 1 bottle of wine, nor shall I for his humour permit you to purloin a stone, and a quarter of beef from my sirloin. If I make it a barrack, the crown is my tenant, my dear. I have pondered again and again on't in poundage and drawbacks. I lose half my rent. Whatever they give me, I must be content or join with the court in every debate, and rather than that I would lose my estate. Thus ended the knight, thus began his meek wife. It must, and it shall be a barrack, my life. I am grown a mere mopus, no company comes, but a rabble of tenants, and rusty dull rums 5 with parsons. What lady can keep herself clean? I am all over daubed when I sit by the Dean. But if you will give us a barrack, my dear, the captain, I'm sure, will always come here. I then shall not value his deanship. A straw for the captain, I warrant, will keep him in awe, or, should he pretend to be brisk and alert, will tell him that chaplains should not be so pert, that men of his coat should be minding their prayers, and not among ladies to give themselves airs. Thus argued my lady, but argued in vain. The knight his opinion resolved to maintain. But Hannah 6, who listened to all that was past, and could not endure so vulgar a taste, as soon as her ladyship, called to be dressed, cried, Madam, why surely my master's possessed Sir Arthur, the maltster, how fine it will sound. I'd rather the BAWN was sunk underground. But madam, I guess there would never come good, when I saw him so often with Darby, and Wood 7, and now, my dream's out, for I was a-dreamed that I saw a huge rat. Oh dear, how I screamed. And after me thought I had lost my new shoes, and Molly she said I should hear some ill news. Dear madam, had you but the spirit to tease, you might have a barrack whenever you please, and madam, I always believed you so stout, that for 20 denials you would not give out. If I had a husband like him, I purtised, till he gave me my will I would give him no rest, and rather than come in the same pair of sheets, with such a cross man I would lie in the streets. But madam, I beg you contrive and invent, and worry him out till he gives his consent. Dear madam, whene'er of a barrack, I think an I were to be hanged, I can't sleep a wink, for if a new crotchet comes into my brain, I can't get it out though I'd never so fain. I fancy already a barrack contrived at Hamilton's BAWN, and the troop is arrived of this. To be sure Sir Arthur has warning, and waits on the captain betimes the next morning. Now see when they meet how their honours behave. Noble captain, your servant Sir Arthur, your slave, you honour me much. The honour is mine. 'Twas a sad rainy night, but the morning is fine. Pray, how does my lady my wife's at your service? I think I have seen her picture. By Jervas, good morrow, good captain, ill wait on you down, you shan't stir a foot, yowl. Think me a clown, for all the world, captain, not half an inch farther. You must be obeyed, your servant Sir Arthur. My humble respects to my lady unknown. I hope you will use my house as your own. Go bring me my smock, and leave off your prate. Thou hast certainly gotten a cup in thy pate. Pray madam, be quiet. What was it I said? You had like to have put it quite out of my head. Next day to be sure the captain will come at the head of his troop, with trumpet and drum. Now madam, observe how he marches in state, the man with the kettle drum, Enters the gate dub dub a dub dub, the trumpeters follow. Tantara tantara, while all the boys holler. See now comes the captain all daubed with gold lace, oh la the sweet gentleman look in his face, and see how he rides like a lord of the land, with the fine flaming sword that he holds in his hand, and his horse the dear cretur it prances, and rears with ribbons in knots at its tail, and its ears at last comes the troop by word of command, drawn up in our court, when the captain cries stand. Your ladyship lifts up the sash to be seen for sure I had dizened you out like a queen. The captain to show he is proud of the favour looks up to your window, and cocks up his beaver is cocked, pray madam mark, that for a captain of horse never takes off his hat, because he has never a hand that is idle, for the right holds the sword, and the left holds the bridle, then flourishes thrice his sword in the air, as a compliment due to a lady so fair, how I tremble to think of the blood it has spilt, then he lowers down the point, and kisses the hilt. Your ladyship smiles, and thus you begin, pray captain be pleased to alight and walk in. The captain salutes you with congee profound, and your ladyship curtsies halfway to the ground. Kit run to your master, and bid him come to us, I am sure hell be proud of the honour you do us, and Captain Yowl do us the favour to stay, and take a short dinner here with us today, you're heartily welcome. But as for good cheer you come in the very worst time of the year, if I had expected so worthy a guest, Lord madam your ladyship sure is in jest, you banter me madam, the kingdom must grant you officers captain, are so complacent, hissed hussy, I think I hear somebody coming, no madam tease, only Sir Arthur ahaming. To shorten my tale, for I hate a long story, the captain at dinner appears in his glory, the dean, and the doctor eight have humbled their pride, for the captain's entreated to sit by your side, and because he's their betters you carve for him, first the parsons for envy are ready to burst. The servants amazed are scarce ever able to keep off their eyes as they wait at the table and Marley, and I have thrust in our nose to peep at the captain in all his fine clothes, dear madam be sure he's a fine spoken man do, but here on the clergy how glib his tongue ran, and madam says he if such dinners you give y'all ne'er want for parsons as long as you live. I ne'er knew a parson without a good nose, but the devil's as welcome wherever he goes, gddn me they bid us reform and repent, but zs by their looks, they never keep lent, Mr. Curate, for all your grave looks I am afraid you cast a sheep's eye on her ladyship's maid. Wish she would lend you her pretty white hand in mending your cassock, and smoothing your band, for the dean was so shabby, and looked like a ninny that the captain supposed he was curate to Ginny. Whenever you see a cassock, and gown 100 to 1, but it covers a clown. Observe how a parson comes into a room, gddn me, he hobbles as bad as my groom a scholard, when just from his college broke loose, can hardly tell how to cry bow to a goose, your noves, and bluedirks, and armours 9, and stuff by G, they don't signify this pinch of snuff. To give a young gentleman right education, the army's the only good school in the nation. My schoolmaster called me a dunce and a fool, but at cuffs I was always the cock of the school. I never could take to my book for the blood o' me, and the puppy confessed he expected no good o' me. He caught me one morning coquetting his wife, but he mauled me, I ne'er was so mauled in my life 10, so I took to the road, and what's very odd, the first man I robbed was a parson by G. Now Madam Yowl think it a strange thing to say, but the sight of a book makes me sick to this day. Never since I was born did I hear so much wit, and madam I laughed, till I thought I should split. So then you looked scornful and sniffed at the dean, as who should say, now am I skinny and lean. But he durst not so much as once open his lips, and the doctor was plaguily down in the hips. Thus merciless Hannah ran on in her talk, till she heard the dean call, will your ladyship walk? Her ladyship answers, I am just coming down. Then turning to Hannah and forcing a frown, although it was plain in her heart, she was glad, cried hussy, why sure the wench is gone mad. How could these chimeras get into your brains? Come hither, and take this old gown for your pains. But the dean, if this secret should come to his ears, will never have done with his jibes, and his jeers for your life, not a word of the matter I charge ye give me, but a barrack a fig for the clergy. Footnote 1. A barn was a place near the house enclosed with mud or stone walls, to keep the cattle from being stolen in the night, now little used, Dublin edition. Footnote 2. Sir Arthur Akeson, at whose seat this was written. Footnote 3. John Lord Carteret, then Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, since Earl of Granville, in right of his mother. Footnote 4. The army in Ireland was lodged in strong buildings, called barracks. See verses on his own death, and notes vol I 247 W.E.B. Footnote 5. A cantword in Ireland for a poor country clergyman. Footnote 6. My lady's waiting woman. Footnote 7. 2 of Sir Arthur's managers. Footnote 8 Dr. Ginny, a clergyman in the neighbourhood. Footnote 9 Ovid's Plutarch's Homers. Footnote 10 These 4 lines were added by Swift in his own copy of the Miscellanies Edit, 1732, W.E.B. Footnote 11 Nicknames, for My Lady C. Ante pp 94-95, W.E.B.